this word liwat. Liwat comes from the word lot, right? So apparently what Lot's people did, that's termed liwat. So in analyzing the story as we've done last week, we come to discover that it wasn't about anal sex. The question was not about anal sex at all. It's about the approach to people in society that poses themselves as male in terms of gender. There's this need to be loved, there's this need to be recognized, so you kind of don't want to retaliate against when you're being called a Muslim. But it's all internalized, and these things are often, believe it or not, they plain need to be loved, there's this need to be recognized, so you kind of don't want to retaliate against when you're being called a Muslim. But it's all internalized, and these things are often, believe it or not, they played out when we start as adults relating to other people, and specifically, as I've noticed, with gay relationships, right? All that stuff is coming out, and you're kind of projecting it onto your partner, and this is also probably why gay relationships can be sometimes very taxing for some people. Sex, your sex is determined by your genitals, biologically. So a penis for the man and a vagina for the woman. So it's clearly, when the child is born, his genitals are to garment. Intersex people are born with full or part genitals of both sexes, or they fall to be having ambiguous genitalia, right? One can't figure out whether this is a penis or if it's a vagina, okay? And some of them grow up having both organs, or their breasts are overdeveloped like females, but they would have a penis. And so this is a physical manifestation of the intersex person that they are. Now some of these are very, in fact not some of these, all of these terms are very important, because sometimes even within our own circles we are so sure that we're gay, right? That sometimes when somebody else acts a little bit more effeminate than what we do, we kind of like, even have our own, in our own circles we have homophobia. And consider that the scriptures, whether it's the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, has been hijacked by men. And again, it's being used as a power tool to control communities by saying God says this and God says that, but it's actually in their own interpretations that they're saying. And this is what we see in apartheid.
What about the word, it's not mentioned here, but the word eunuch?
Eunuch.
Yeah.
Yeah, eunuch is like a medieval term for people used to be castrated, so their penises would be cut off, and they were called eunuchs. But eventually some people even displayed efficacy, they would be termed as eunuchs. And they have been committing wrong for a long time. This is not about Gomorrah. So he said, "O my people, these are my daughters, they are pure for you. So be conscious of God and do not disgrace me in my guest. Is there not one righteous man amongst you?" So this was not the situation. Now we've dealt with the daughters of Lot, right? Remember the angels came as handsome young men, and he had to defend the angels. He had to defend the angels, and he said, "You know what? You could rather get these daughters of mine that you wanted for a long time, but I'm not giving up the angels of God." And then he says, "Please don't disgrace me on this day in front of my guests. Is there not a righteous man amongst you?" Is that man sex or gender?
The pair that the verse speaks about, it points to two opposites. So for me, just from the very first line, it says to me it refers to sex.
I don't know. I'm thinking of procreation. So they just wanted to get the freak on with the angels. So he's like, "No, you are my girls."
Within the Arabic culture, there is no differentiation between sex and gender.
But it could also possibly be around sex, in that he has offered his daughters, and these people are both men and women. And in the crowd, of the men, women and children, there were men wanting to sleep with men. So he's asking, is there not one righteous man amongst you, in that he would rather offer up his daughters to procreate with this man, rather than this man after the angels he's trying to protect.
And then the last two, must you approach males of all creation, keeping yourself aloof from what your sustainer has created for you from your spouses. Now again, in the context of the story, they had spouses, these were women that they married, aristocratic women, so that they can have legitimate children from them, but they were free to sleep with the prostitutes, the temple prostitutes, slaves, foreigners, and even animals.
This is talking about dominance.
Our God is non-judgmental, our God is all-inclusive, our God is most merciful. And so why would you want to interpret his book in any other way that's going to hurt any of his creation? When you read into the Quran, the reason why we have these misinterpretations of the Quran, because we don't go to the stuff about gender and sexuality and the history and the context of these verses.
I think that when I look at this verse, the only thing that I see is males with penises.
Okay. Consider that you're stuck in that interpretation, and that's okay. That you're stuck in that interpretation because of the way you were conditioned to think of men.
Yeah.
So now something new has come up where you come to the realization that there can actually be males in our society, men with penises, but that they're actually female.
A lot of things are contradictory in what is said to what is actually done, or our belief systems, because of indoctrination over the years. And it just is like this, you don't ask questions. But I guess now that I'm a bit older and somewhat wiser, I can take decisions for myself now, and I kind of wish that the elders, whether it be in the church or other religions, will also take the time out to maybe analyze exactly what it is that they are telling everybody else. Because for me, some of them are also just passing the message along, and it does become like a broken telephone, because everybody wants to add on the bit, and it's not exactly saying what is in the Bible or in the Quran or anything else.
So does the Quran recognize sexual diversity within human beings? It says in Surah 1784, say, everyone acts according to his own manner or disposition, biological, psychological makeup. Right? That's what the word shakl in green means in the Arabic language. But your Lord knows best who it is that is best guided on the way. And this ties beautifully in with other verses where Allah says that, we've created you into different nations and tribes, but really the best one amongst you is not the white skin or the black skin or your status or whether you were Arab or non-Arab, but it's really your consciousness of God. So in this, it's clearly about that there's something around the psychological and biological makeup of a person that makes that person the way the person is. And it's not for us as human beings to judge that, because God knows best who is guided on.
They're just reading it like it's there, like they would like to understand it. I mean, we're not supposed to be judgmental, Christian or Muslim. That is not one of the rules, but that is what we're supposed to live by, but yet they are. Not judging the imams or the priests or anything, but they are of those people that would say, I wouldn't allow Ziyad into my mosque because he's gay, because we're not allowed to have homosexuality in our religion, which is wrong.
That we're not allowed to take medicine, because in medicine there's alcohol and this and this and that. I didn't go to mosque. He went to Maghrib or Isha to some mosque in Salt River. So he told me, so I said, well, I don't listen to these sermons, I'm sorry. You can take it in, but I don't take it in, because God, Allah Ta'ala gave those people hidayah, the doctors and professors, to manufacture medicine all the years. It's very seldom you find an imam, from Islam point of view, as liberal or open-minded.